4 shipping sequence, runway 5, only 6 miles, stream. Double 1 with the target to go right back.
Okay, here we go. This is a fun intro. We've got starting off with the F-35s. Ladies, gents and teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. And we are live here at RAF Lakenheath. There we go, a nice our new intro. Let's see what else is down there, Teddy. Is there any more? Is that it for now? Beautiful. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel ride. Ladies, gents and teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. Got a lovely intro there. F-35s and a honk honk. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. We are live here at the 48 Fighter Wing Statue de la Liberté. My name's Nikos, I'm your cameraman, historian and commentator. Welcome to the show. And well, that was a nice start to the morning. It's as you can see, it's pretty emotional. It's not the nicest of weather to start the day, but hey, carrying on. We got this all week this week, and we'll do what we can. Clyde, how you doing, man?
I'm good, yourself?
You alright, yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, that's first time I've been out in a long while.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's supposed to rain for a few hours yet, so I thought we'd get the curve done.
Yeah, me too. I thought I'll keep an eye on it. Maybe 1 o'clock, start thinking about bailing away, bowling off.
The squadrons up there.
Yeah, we've got a few. Got a bit of a selection up here. We've got
We've got a Lakenheath F-15. How long about that?
I've had that for a while now. I've had that for a few months. Just needs the front wheel fluid back on, but it makes a quirky thing.
I mean, talk about F-15s. Did you see where they're loading that one up? Did you see it on Facebook?
No, I haven't seen
Somewhere in
that.
a Southeast Asian location, they said they're loading a couple of rounds.
Oh right.
And I don't know what they call it. It got jammed.
Oh right.
And they couldn't reverse it.
Gosh.
And it fired.
Oh.
It actually fired and it ricocheted and it broke off in 16. An F-16 did, yeah, 30 million pounds worth of damage.
Oh no.
Apparently.
Oh dear.
That's one of Lakenheath's Eagles.
Was it?
Know,
Oh gosh. Dear.
No one hurt. Just a guy just had a surface wound. Yeah. Apparently the F-15 was scratched. With a bullet scratch.
Oh dear.
So anything else down there you can see?
No, there's. I did hear F-15 start up, but can't see anything at the moment. How are we doing, ladies and gents, teddy bears? Welcome to the show. My name's Nikos. I'm your. There you go. You can hear the F-15s in the background, can't you? Got a very distinctive howl. Welcome and a big warm welcome to the 48th Fighter Wing as well. All crew from their 48th Operations Support Squadron, the Fighter Squadrons, the Fighter Generation Squadrons, LE, SF, all the forces there, OSI, controllers, the MOD police as well. How you all doing? Everyone in RAPCON, all the crew chiefs, everyone involved in the engine techs, technicians, all roles. The list goes on to make a wing, and this is a true statement station. RAF Lakenheath, completed in 1941 as a Royal Air Force station, destined to become a satellite station for neighbouring RAF Mildenhall. Its first residence was an operational training unit that came from Lossiemouth, Fighter number 20, operational training unit that came here and served in the same role as an operational conversion unit, known as OTUs, operational training units back then. And the first aircraft to operate here was indeed the Vickers Wellington bomber. A twin-engined legend, an icon of Cambridgeshire, Suffolk, the Ely region. It was our first ever aircraft to operate here. Eventually one of the squadrons from RAF Mildenhall, which was built in 1934, who converted for the first time the first arrivals of these very aircraft, with number 99 Squadron, which 149 were operating there until their transition to the twin-engine bomber, the Vickers Wellington bomber, a twin-engine bomber which could carry 4,500 pounds of payload, designed with the geodetic airframe, as you can see in there, a little hint of that. A beautiful design and a masterpiece by Sir Barnes Wallis, so that it can take a lot of battle damage, very similar to the chain link fence. So it was all wrapped like this, and I love the way they've got a sort of like a hint of what it was all about, and then covered in special, I think it was Irish linen to cover that, so it could take a lot of battle damage. Started life with the Bristol Pegasus engines, 1,000 horsepowers for each one. And a Mark II actually introduced the Rolls-Royce Merlin, although they switched to a more powerful Bristol Hercules, which took the aircraft to about 20,000 feet service ceiling and about 245 miles per hour max speed. It had an excellent range, and probably one of few that could get to Germany and back without really a problem, fully loaded, fully fueled. Although my rear gunner on here is needs a bit of work to that, but hey, it's all good. So 149 Squadron arrived here, the first sort of operational unit from neighbouring RAF Mildenhall. What is that? Crossing the... Yeah, we've got trouble over there, look. Very, very hazy skies, and not the best today, but we'll do our best, eh? Also joining 149 was 199 Squadron as well, where they both switched to the Stirling's Mark I and Mark III. The station became a fully operational station and an independent one in 1943. There are your short Stirling bombers, both of them, 149 and 199 Squadron. They both flew the RAF's first ever 4-engine monoplane bomber, which of course is the short Stirling bomber, which is this. Here we go. Our beautiful, these are the markings of 199 Squadron, EX. And I can tell you a lot about history about that, just giving you a quick taste of the aircraft that were here. It took part in many missions, and especially with 149 on that very night of the 28th into the 29th. Rawdon, Ron, Hume Middleton took off with other Stirlings for a raid destined for Turin, Italy. And for his bravery, valour, he was true to the end. He perished while trying to save civilians and his crew, and he was awarded a Victoria Cross. So Lakenheath is a Victoria Cross station for the valour, and we do have a video dedicated to that story true to the end. If you go into the 29th of November archive from last year, you'll know all about the story of what happened. Those were the only 2 aircraft that functioned here and operated here at Lakenheath with the Royal Air Force. Took it right up to the end of the war. Even the signals units were here as well, the RAF signals, until the end of the war. Saw the station close as it was selected, along with Sculthorpe, Marham, and of course here to become a VHB, a very heavy bomber base, which meant the arrival of operational B-29s in the Royal Air Force. They were called Boeing Washingtons. It took a project of over 2 years, which is actually quite substantial. So at the moment we've had 1 F-35 just cross the runway there. Just the one at the minute. I can hear lots of F-15s, by the way, for those interested. But after the station closed, that was pretty much it, until the new runways were complete, ready for heavy bombers. A good 9,000 foot runway was constructed. And in 1948 saw the very first arrival of the United States Air Force. And that was in 1948. It was the 7504th Base Completion Unit. And during that time, we saw the likes of the 913th, or the 300 and, I don't know how to pronounce that, it's 3193, it's got a D, Air Base Squadron. I've never managed to work out how to pronounce like 4 digits in the United States. Maybe that's an error. Also, we saw the 321st Bomb Wing, the 40th Bomb Wing also here, the 3910th Air Base Squadron, and it wasn't until 1960 that the 48th Tactical Fighter Wing arrived, and that was on the 15th of January of 1960. Aircraft during the period prior to the arrival of the 48th were the B-29, B-50s, B-36, wow, the KC-97 and the Boeing 47 Stratojet. And Lakenheath's 48th Tactical Fighter Wing arrived with the F-100D Super Sabre. At the time all camo until they switched to the bare metal in the late 60s. It was the 48's first ever supersonic aircraft, the F-100D Super Sabre. Pratt & Whitney's J79s. Sorry, J57s with 16,000 pounds of thrust. The Pratt & Whitney J57 was a afterburning turbojet engine. The 2121A can produce 10,200 pounds of thrust dry, along with 16,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. There's our F100. It was the first 100 operator of USAF. Of course, this is a station that's part of the 3rd Air Force and the United States Air Force in Europe, pronounced USAF. The letter E on United States Air Force stands for Europe. for a brief period in 1972 to 77. The 48th operated their first ever twin jet engine, the F4 Phantom. Oh yes, look at that, an absolute beaut, isn't it? Wow, that was their first ever twin engine jet aircraft, which is absolutely incredible. They were ex-Vietnam. Interestingly, when they got these in 72, the tail markings for the base for the station was LK until they switched in 73. Now these do have the General Electric J79, that's probably what I was thinking, producing 17,845 pounds of thrust with afterburner. So after that, after 1977, they switched to a pretty much a fighter bomber. Look at this, the F-111 Aardvark. They had this from 1977 right up to 1991 until the last one left in 92. Look at this, absolutely beautiful, isn't it? An amazing F-111 Aardvark. That was next. And then 1992, I don't have the exact one, but in 1992 the 492nd and the 494th were operating the F-15E Strike Eagle. This is a C model, by the way. This is not an E, so I do apologise. But in 1994, they did receive these as well, the F-15 C model, and eventually the D model, the twin-seater family version as well. That was the next aircraft. We also had helicopters here, which I don't have, which is a bit of a shame. The HH-60 Pavehawks, which arrived in 2004 with the 56 Air Rescue Squadron. Also eventually the 57th Rescue Squadron as well. And then eventually, 15th of December 2021, saw this, trouble. That's right, Lockheed Martin's amazing F-35A. There you go. A quick, brief history of aircraft of Lakenheath through the years. So really, I just need the HH-60, an F-15E, and then I guess I will need probably a B-47, a B-50, B-36, KC-97, and then I'll be all right. And then I'll have them all. Got to catch them all, innit? Got to collect them all. Pokemon. Right, F-15E Strike Eagle. So let's go on with today. So today, who do we have here? So the 48th Fighter Wing has a flying component, the 48th Operations Group. What up? Now the 48th Operations Group, that's very traditional as a structure, especially during the construction of the US Army Air Corps and the United States Army Air Forces. Anyway, getting to modern times, we have 4 combat-ready fighter squadrons. We have the 492nd Fighter Squadron. They're locally known as the Bowlers. Their full traditional nickname are the Mad Hatters. Guns bleed blue, that's right. They fly the F-15E Strike Eagle that you can see there. Next up, we have the 493rd Fighter Squadron, which is, I think, is who we had take off in the F-35As just a moment ago. The 493rd, nicknamed the Grim Reapers, got the most aerial victories during the Second World War with 8.5, although some sources suggest 9. And they fly the F-35A. They received the F-35As after a brief inactivation in 2022. So they're the latest and greatest to have converted to the F-35A. I believe they had a nickname, the Roosters, between 56 and 92. We'll have to have a look at that. Mors Inimicis, deaf to the enemy, are their nickname. Their colours are black and gold. The 492nd, by the way, you might have guessed it, was blue. Now, just quickly, going back to the Grim Reapers in March of 1999, you may have noticed this F-15C as well. This is a Grim Reaper. As you can see, the black and gold 0156, call sign Dirk 21, got 2 MiG kills during the Serbian war. Operation Allied Force, the 493rd Expeditionary Fighter Squadron. Oh no, there's the markings there. A flag that's has no country at the time. Amazing. And 2 more aerial victories from 2 other F-15Cs. So that's call sign Dirk 21. Next up, another F-15E Strike Eagle Squadron, the Panthers, bleed red. That's right, their colour is red. They are the Panthers, the 494th. The baddest, meanest, finest, which I always get wrong. One day, if I keep going, I might get it right. And last but not least, the Valkyries, the 495th Fighter Squadron. Like I said, who turned and made Lakenheath the very first USAF wing to be an F-35A unit. Amazing. Their colour is green. Lots of history as well with them. And they weren't always called the Valkyries. During the time of 77 to 1991, they were known as the Thundervarks, the 495th. We'll go through the full history a bit later on. You can see how murky it is down there. We've got this sadly pretty much all week. But we are due to possibly end X around about between 13 and 1400 today, due to the emotion that's heading this way. It's that time of year, unfortunately. It's a bit like Marham yesterday, isn't it? So if you just joined us, don't forget to hit the like button. There's more trouble there just passing by. Good morning to GSC or G Scarf, Bobby, Margot, Davey, Tim Collins, Fritz, Paul Mayers, Oi Oi, Mark Dudley, the Bat of Purple, Charlie Bravo, EP65, not Captain Weber, Captain A, how you doing as well? Margot, Davey, the Bat of Purple, how you all doing? Hope you're all good. If you're all clear to hit that like button, give us a thumbs up. Let's get this stream out there. It does help. It really does push the numbers. So the Valkyries were actually chosen from the members of the public, a suggestion from members of the public for a new nickname. And others were called the Ravens, Daggers, Archangels. The other one was Valkyries, a short list of 4 amongst many different nicknames. Now the 493rd and the 495th are the only ones with Latin for a motto. The other 2 don't. Mala ipsa nova, bad news itself. I do love that. That's pretty cool. I wonder if that's their old motto. I need to have a look at that. It's quite hard to check. I've been still searching for what the creature is. I've decided it is a bird, but no idea. This is the creature that I found from 1943 for the 495th. There's a lot of history here, loads of history. And of course, when the arrival, and this is the thing, so when 1992 came for Lakenheath as an Eagle unit, By the time 1994 came, all 3 squadrons, because the 495th became inactive once the Aardvarks retired, they were all having Eagles, and at the time there was the 748th maintenance squadron, okay? But when the arrival of the F-35 came in 2021, this was a very, very new aircraft, okay? It's a 5th generation, and the structure changed for the maintenance crew. That's when they created the fighter generation squadrons. So since the arrival of the F-35s, this gave birth to new maintenance squadron called the fighter generation squadron. So what that means is that each squadron have their own maintenance crew, and the fighter generation squadrons created were the 495th fighter generation squadron and the 493rd fighter generation squadrons. And this started a trend and the kind of like the dissolving of the 748, so to speak. So you now have the 492nd fighter generation squadron and the 494 fighter generation squadrons. What does that mean? What involved are armourers, technicians, crew chiefs, all that kind of stuff, but each one manages their own. So you'll see them in matching coloured high-vis, so blue for the 492nd, red for the 494th, but we don't really get to see the others, but we do on the EOR. We get ready for some F-15E Strike Eagle action. These are powered by the Pratt & Whitney's PW229s, producing over 29,000 pounds of thrust each. Vehicle just in front of our screens there. That's the AWCU, the Airfield Wildlife Control Unit. And that's not the A-Team, just behind it. See a bit of afterburner there. Beautiful. I think we got lift off from these as well. Let's go. Now here we've got the world's most powerful single jet engine in a fighter, which is 43,000 pounds of thrust in an aircraft that weighs about 29,000 pounds empty. Here we go, rack 'em. go. That's our lot at the moment for now. Welcome to the show, ladies, gents, and teddy bears. Welcome to RAF Lakenheath. And so much history here. It's incredible. Hope we're all good and well. So a very good morning to all who are tuned in. Welcome to the show. Yeah, it's good to see the afterburners there on those. Really, really cool, isn't it? Really amazing. Interestingly, the F-15E, when it arrived at Lakenheath for the 493rd, for the 492nd and the 494th, it was actually a turning point for the wing as well as the squadrons, because it was the first sort of air-to-air superiority or air-to-air weaponry aircraft, one that was dedicated to air-to-air combat, rather than their others that they performed in, the roles that they performed in. So it was quite a turning point really for that, and that kind of changed things for Lakenheath to a point where they dropped the title tactical, because of course the name does distinguish what they're up to. So the wing, the title of the wing usually follows down to the squadron itself. So at the time, during 1956, if I remember correctly, they became the 48th Tactical Fighter Wing at Chaumont, and they held that title. So the squadrons became Tactical Fighter Squadrons. They held that until 1991, when that all changed as the F-111 Aardvark was starting to retire. I think the last one, I'm trying to remember who it was, December 91, or 92. I always get those dates mixed up, but what I do know, the 1st of January of 1994 was when the F-15C Eagle arrived for the 493rd. So there's a lot of dates to remember when doing the history, and for those wondering the history of the 48th and why they're called, or why there's even Statue de la Liberté on their wing insignia, well, that's all because they moved to France, back to France. And I say back to France because they spent a lot of time in France during the Second World War, although they arrived at first of all in Scotland at Gurrock, and then ended up all the way down to RAF Ibsley with the 70th Fighter Wing, and ended up being part of the 9th Air Force, and then eventually moving to moving to Coningsby, and Saint Trond in Belgium as well. He spent quite a bit of time in France at various bases and places. But when they went back to France in 1952, that's when they became a wing. They got wing status. They first of all became the fighter bomb wing, so the squadrons were fighter bomb squadrons during their time in 1952. In fact, that's when they received their first ever jet aircraft. Their first ever jet aircraft was the F-84 Thunderjet. Here it is. This was their first ever jet aircraft. In fact, it was the birth as well of the Sky Blazers display team, the aerobatics team, And that was actually flown by the 492nd Fighter Bomb Squadron. Look at that, their first ever jet aircraft. Here it is, the F-84. And then a year later, they actually switched to the F-86. Now look at this. Look at the way evolution happens of aviation. Look at the way the swept wings, which, well, if you look at the ME-262, there are some countries that were really, you know, pioneering and really going for it. The MiG design with the swept wings. The swept wing gave a faster speed. So this was a subsonic. It wasn't too far out, about 638 miles per hour, I think it was. But so the reason why they're called the Statue of Liberty wing is the fact that they were near the very workshop of Bartholdi, who designed the Statue of Liberty wing. And had a ceremony in 1954 on the 4th of July, and they were named the Statue of Liberty wing. Statue de la Liberté. Amazing, isn't it, to know that's the reasons why they were near it. They made a 3-meter replica because the molds were still there. I mean, we're talking about what, 1800s, right? 1880s, and the molds were still. There's even a replica here, by the way, which is quite amazing. 687 miles per hour was the max speed of the F-86. Pretty impressive, isn't it? So if we just roll back to the F-84, look at this. The F-84, very similar to the P-80, which that aircraft, the Shooting Star, that was the transition to change the letter P, because a lot of the aircraft had P for pursuit. P, they changed it. So if you notice, the P-47, P-51, it was a P-80 just for a short period of time, the Shooting Star, and then they changed it to F-80, and that's where all the F numbers came into it. Have a look at the F-82 and tell me what you think of that one. Here we go. I think we got more departures down there, you know. Yeah, we do. I thought I could see lights. Here we go. I see the light. Here we go. Amazing, isn't it, when, you know, we talk about the aircraft that they had and they were operating. It is quite amazing to think various aircraft that they had. They were operating things like the A-20, A-31, all these different types of aircraft, the P-39, the P-40, the P-40 Warhawk, just before they transitioned to the P-47. Now I've actually taken off the propellers here. I could just say, you know, it's just to give the effect that it's moving, but look at this. So just before they transitioned, so 1943, they were operating the P-40. I've taken off the propeller. It's had a series of bad luck, this one, with me, unfortunately, but this is what they were operating. All 4 squadrons were operating this. You know, the 4 squadrons actually activated, or the group did, in on the 15th of January of 1941. They were one of 54 first aviation objectives, they were called, preparation for a looming Second World War, because at the time the United States were neutral at the time. So this was, I mean, if we look at speeds and that kind of thing from what they were operating, so it's quite substantial, isn't it? The P-40, really. So they were operating this. Oi, oi! Oi, oi! Thank you very much for that, sir. So the P-40, with a wingspan of 37 feet and 3.5 inches, powered by the Allison V1710 V12 with 1240 horsepower, giving a max speed of around 361 miles per hour. And then, of course, the aircraft that really made them legendary. And I say legendary because they were really a massive part of the Second World War. They really were. But it was only the 3 squadrons that actually made it. The 495th were moved to the 407th Fighter Group, which was a training unit. But this legendary P-47 Thunderbolt, this one's the Razorback, a legendary, absolute beautiful aircraft, and that was in 1944. And then, of course, they moved and took part in many raids over Normandy and the campaign, and they really supported the 9th Army below. They really did. Operation Lumberjack, one of the last remaining bridges of the retreating Second World War Germany. They were trying to destroy it, the German forces, but when the P-47s came along, the 9th Air Force, they were really a very different role to the 8th Air Force. They didn't really do any escorting missions. Theirs was to support the army on the ground. Now, also in the 9th Air Force, they also had the Dakota, the C-47, or the Skytrain, if you're in the US, for our US viewers, the C-47 that was used to make the airdrops and for the parachutes, giving support to the army. But if you were in a fighter, you will be taking out bridges, gun positions, strategic positions, locomotives, vehicles. So here, the Jug, they made about 15,636 of these beautiful aircraft. At the time, it was going to be their fastest aircraft for a long time. 426 miles per hour, powered by the beautiful Pratt & Whitney R2800 18-cylinder, and it was air-cooled, and I love air-cooled, you know me. It was quite advanced for its time as well, with the 8 cannons. Actually slowed it down by 25 miles per hour when it fired all when it fired all 8 of those. Even had a 300 horsepower boost as well, with a water and alcohol mixture. There's our P-47, for those that don't know what it looks like, the way it would take the air. I mean, that air intake at the front, okay, would take that air all the way to the back to the supercharger at the back, the impeller, and it compresses the air, and then it brings that air, and you've got an intercooler to cool down the air from the compressed air, and feeds that to the exhaust collection ring. The 18 cylinders. Now, because it was air-cooled and not liquid-cooled, like, for example, the Spitfires used like an oil cooling system through various pipes and tubes and stuff like that to cool down the engine through liquid. Thing is, if you get hit in your engine on a Spitfire through one of those pipes that cool down your engine, you are in serious trouble. You ain't going to get away with it. A double wasp engine like this, a radial piston engine, that could still work quite independently to a point where you're cooling your air through literally through a feed right at the front. There are pros and cons, because you're probably thinking, well, why didn't they make that? It's not very aerodynamic. That's the problem. It's just flat. It's like a brick. And it was like a brick. You can actually fit a human being inside there. All right, so it had a 46-litre engine, and you could actually lose even half your cylinders, and it will still be able to pump and rotate round. Very different to just a usual piston engine. The radial piston engines were actually quite substantial. Amazing. Those are the markings for the squadrons. The 492nd had F4, and red was their colour. 493rd, I7 was blue. 494th, 6M, and their colour was yellow. They very different to what we know today. Amazing. So as I mentioned earlier, 1952, the group, as they were, the fighter group, the 48th, they did get wing status in the end. And their first aircraft was indeed the F-85. This was their first ever jet aircraft, the Thunderjet. And it was powered by an Allison J-35 A29 turbojet engine. Wingspan 36 feet 5 inches. And with a service ceiling of 40,500, it had a max speed of 622. And then, of course, the F-86 they converted to a year later, which was quite amazing, really. And of course, the difference it makes with having a swept wing, you know, really does make a difference with the swept wing there. So giving your swept wing gives you a bit of a nice aerodynamic design to give you more speed. In fact, 687 miles per hour by the General Electric J47. And then the F-100 was their first ever aircraft that was supersonic. Look at this, the F-100D. They got these in 56 and arrived at Lakenheath in January the 15th of 1960. So Lakenheath, as far as the 48th, this was the 48th's first aircraft here, the F-100 Super Sabre. How amazing is that? And a wingspan of 38 feet 9 inches with a max speed of Mach 1.4, so 1.4 times the speed of sound. Had a just short of 2,000 mile range with a service ceiling of 50,000 feet. It did have guns. It could take a lot of stuff as well with it. Payload with you could even have 4 AIM-9s, 2 AGM-12 bullpup as well. Bombs, Mark 7, Mark 28, Mark 38, and even a Mark 43 as well. And like I said, they were a tactical fighter wing and tactical fighter squadrons. So after that, that was in so that was from 56, and then, like I said, 1972, a very different aircraft for them. In 1972 to 77, they were operating ex-Vietnam F4s. So this, a very different aircraft for them, and their first ever twin jet aircraft, the Spook, as it's also lovingly called as well, a nickname, a nice interceptor or a fighter bomber, and which is why I said the Eagle, the F-15 Strike Eagle and the F-15 C&Ds, they're quite an important change for the 48th, because it was the first sort of proper air-to-air, like literally designed for air-to-air combat. Crew of 2 on these, wingspan 38 feet 5 inches, and it was powered by the 2 General Electric J79s, producing 17,845 pounds of thrust in each, with afterburner as well. Man, it's cold. It is freezing. And really good. Some of them did have cannons, I believe some of them didn't. I think the E model had a 20mm, the M61 Vulcan cannon as well. You could have Sidewinders, Sparrows, AIM-7s, a whole load of other stuff. The M Mark 82, GBU-12, GBU-10s, GBU-24s, the Shrike, B-43s and B-57s, and all sorts of other cool stuff like that. But there we go. And then 1977, Again, man, my hands are freezing from holding them. There are more aircraft that have just taxied across. And then after that, 1977, not only did they have a new aircraft, but we welcomed back. Oh, actually, I think we got departure now. I actually think we've got takeoff now, actually. Hang on. We do. As far as I know, it looks like just the one. On the 1st of April 1944, the 495th actually became inactive along with the 407th Fighter Group. But they came back in 1977, and their nickname at the time were the Thunderbucks. So the 495th actually were reactivated, and were all 4 squadrons reunited once more, and they were operating the General Dynamics F-111 Aardvark, which was an attack aircraft or a strategic bomber. They even made an EF electronic warfare, the Raven, as it was called, EF 111 Raven. Their first ever swing wing aircraft that would be able to, just like the Tornado, although it's a very different aircraft, it would be a mistake to actually, an unfair mistake to, I mean, this was more of a TSR-2 or a bit like a roll of the Canberra in some ways or other, anyway, in some ways, but more of a TSR-2. But there we go. So that's what they were operating. Here, a wingspan of 63 feet, and when it was swept at 32, so it's quite a big wingspan really at 63. It was a huge aircraft really at 73 feet and 6 inches. That's way longer than F-15, which is around 60, 65, 67 feet or so. Amazing, isn't it? Power plant with the TF-30 Pratt & Whitney. Is that another departure? It is. Oh, we're all been getting quite busy. What have we got here? Got a couple of F-15s taking off now. Some tea just really quickly. I'm just going to go and get warmed up. It is absolutely freezing out here, it really is. But yeah, the F-111 Aardvark, massive, isn't it? It's the 73 feet and 6 inches in length when you've got the F-15 at just short of 64 feet. It's quite amazing when you think about it like that. and you'll be pleased to know I can still hear more aircraft spooling in the distance. But the era of the Aardvark took them right up to 1991, and again we said goodbye to the 495th. They became inactive again, and from 1992 it was time for a new aircraft, the F-15E Strike Eagle, for the 492nd and the 494th, making, you know, the 48th operating a very new style of aircraft, their first sort of dedicated fighter air-to-air aircraft, literally. Big shout out to Kevin Flanagan from Texas. How you doing? Hope you're all good. Martina. And a big shout out to all our US viewers. How you all doing? What up? West Coast, Texas. How you all doing? Thanks for your support, everyone. Bad Purple, Margot, Davey, Carl Portlock, Daniel, Simon Watchorn. How we all doing? Chris Bloxham, EP65. And welcome to the show. I'm just going to go and grab a cup of tea. It is probably really struggling to even get about 35 degrees today. In fact, it's probably about, oh, here you go, we've got more trouble crossing the runway. Yeah, is that another departure? No. It's the AWCU. F-35s just crossing the runway at the moment. I hope you're all good wherever you're watching from in the world. I hope you're all keeping warm and well. I'm gonna go and just watch these cross the runway, and then I'll go and grab a cup of tea just to keep warm. This is our bit of trouble there. And now, let me see. Look like Norwegian F-35s, I think. Hang on, what's that? It's really hard to tell, isn't it? I'll be able to tell you in just a moment. I thought I've seen the... No, that's LN. No, I don't think it is. I thought I've seen the drag chute modification on the top. No, these are LN ones for now. Perry for letting me know. Thought they were still here. Obviously not. Thank you. Oh dear. Rick from the Models of Scale. How you doing? Welcome back, Vina. How you doing? I'll just let you know it won't be a full stream today. I'll just do just a few hours, as it's well, for those in the UK will know it's at 2 degrees Celsius. About what, 35 degrees Fahrenheit? Is that about that? That makes sense. That'd be about right. That's just not very good. Oh dear. Welcome to the show as well, Mayhem Marshy, RSVP, EP65, Scott Evans as well. Hope we're all good and well. So yeah, so we got this for the rest of the week. It's not great. It is shocking all week. It's like this all week, unfortunately. But hey, we'll just wrap up warm, be prepared, and all is good. As we call it, emotional, so look out for more emotional weather tomorrow, Thursday and Friday. Looks well, as I say, it's drier in the sea I think on Friday, but there we go. It won't be long till we get some warmth. But I've always said this, you know, it should be like this. It's meant to be like this. It's still winter, so it should be like that, really. If it was nice and warm, it would be a bit worrying. Oh, Julie Greyhound Girl, who's next to me. Hello. There's actually quite a few startups, which is good. Welcome to the show, everyone. Don't forget to all nearly 900 of you watching, just smash that like button. Let's get this show on the road, literally. Let's do this. Do support the channel. If you all hit that like button, it does have real positive impact on the algorithmic mythology. Oh man, it will get things going and flowing. So it really does help if all our subscribers hit the like. That means it's good. Oh, hello there. Hi, you're right. Yeah, that was you, was it?
Yeah.
Cool. You okay?
That was us then. Yeah. That was us.
Yes, I got you. That's good.
Julian J.
Yeah, keep warm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Right, we've got some 2 F-35s. Racking them up, here we go, getting ready to ride. Beautiful stealth 5th generation Mach 1.6 speed in, 43,000 pounds of thrust punching. Oh yes, stealth 5th gen 9G pulling F-35A, the A variant. Oh yeah, we saw the B variant yesterday, and for those that don't know, the F-35B is not operated by the United States Air Force. The US Marine Corps and the US Navy operate the F-35B, and along with the F-35C as well, actually, the third and final variant, the Beast. It really is massive, an extra 4 foot either side. It's about 1.2, it's about 2.4 meters wider. Amazing, isn't it? So it's got a large wing area. Of course, it would need that, being on a carrier, larger wing area, greater, better lift. So big, it's got folding wings. Those are the differences on the F-35C. But one of the main things we do need to just say, so I'll finish that off. So the F-35C has folding wings, possibly at the extension of them. I think basically from where they would normally finish off, the F-35C, the carrier variant, I'll just quickly show you the differences, has folding wings. The actual airframe is different. It is strengthened. All carrier variants have a strengthened airframe to cope with the stresses of a carrier. The other thing as well, another difference is here, it's a twin axle at the front, it's got 2 wheels at the front. The arrestor cable is different. Land-based aircraft have a very different arrestor hook than, so cold, my brain's freezing, has a very different arrestor hook than the carrier ones. Carrier ones are made to just come to a complete stop. You don't want to be gradually coming to a halt, especially on a carrier when, well, you know what I mean. But yes, very different. Thruster weight ratio's different. The range is different. Payload's the same as the A variant. The other thing as well, the carrier variants are drogue and probe for refueling. They don't have the boomstick, as far as I know, the F-35C. Right, anyway, back to the grounder now. It is heavier as well, the F-35C. It's a lot more heavier than the other two. Right, here we go, departure time. And like I said, I can still hear more aircraft spooling. So, expect more. Oh, look at that. Okay, get ready. 2 more to leave the floor. ladies, gents, teddy bears, hope we're all good and well. Welcome to the show. My name's Nikos, I'm your cameraman, historian and commentator. Hope we're all good and well. So prior, oh here we go, we've actually got an arrival. Here we go. I was going to say, here we go. So Mildenhall was built in 1934, which is about in this sort of direction. It's the SAF. It was built in 1934, and it's about 5 miles in the direction of the flying backwards crow. And 2 years after that was RAF Feltwell, which is about the same distance, but at my 5 o'clock. So Mildenhall were operating the Handley Page Hayford as their first aircraft. And Feltwell were operating at the time the Harrows. Eventually, both in 1938 were operating the Vickers Wellington bomber, and then finally Lakenheath was constructed and built in 1941. Now, prior to that, in 1940, a system that was developed by a man and designed by a man called Turner. He was pioneering decoy airfields and of course later the starfish sites, which saved a lot of towns and cities. And Lakenheath, the vicinity, was actually a decoy airfield as well, and I'll show you a little bit about decoy airfields in just a moment. It's our F-15E Strike Eagle. First flight of the Eagle family in 1972, the F-15A. Amazing, isn't it, right? And a year later, which was designated as the TF-15A, which was later designated as the F-15B, took its first flight in 1973. The F-15 C and D models, they came into action, sprang into action in 1979. The F-15E took its first flight in 1986 and was made operational in 1989. It's a little bit chilly. Yeah, I've got them. Yeah, they're good. They're good. Just that real cold wind.
Look, I've been standing in the trees, you know. Too
Yeah,
much.
I think. Yeah, I'll just catch a few landings.
It's not pleasant.
No. It's that wind. It's just got a real -1 shock. It's a shame because it's busy as well. Keep having my tea. I'll just keep having tea. his warm drinks.
Yes.
I was going to say, do you want us to make you a drink?
I've got tea, but thank you. It's very kind of you.
Sure.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if you want a coffee.
Oh, bless
All
you.
right.
Bless
No
you.
worries.
Oh, thank you very much.
Sit in for a bit.
Yeah.
Coffee time.
Yeah. Jarosław Kubecz, how you doing? Dzień dobry to you. And welcome to our Polish viewers as well. Wherever you're watching from in the world, good day, good evening, good afternoon, and a good morning. Where are you watching from? Let us know in the chit chats. Let us know. So, as you know now, the tail code there for Lakenheath, the LN, has been in existence since 1973. Between 72 and 73, it was LK. But when they arrived with the F-100, the F-100s had LR, LS and LT. The first letter for Lakenheath and the second letter for the squadron. So LR was the 492nd, LS 493rd and LT for the 494th. This is different, I've not seen this before. Nice little so tags put back on. All the checks, the post-flight checks there. Or even more precise, post-landing checks done by the crew there, the ground crew. Lovely. Hope we're all good, ladies, gents and teddy bears. Welcome to the show. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel. A very warm welcome. I wish it was warm. Shout out to all the Bowsers there, you can hear just going past. I think we got a departure actually. So we have. Here we go, another takeoff. Quite a few down there as well, I can see. Look at this. So with Mildenhall not too far away, 86 years ago. Yeah, 86 now, isn't it? Yeah, 86 years ago, while the Luftwaffe began bombing Britain's towns, cities, industrial plants, factories and airfields with all the might of fighter command and anti-aircraft defensive fire. Sometimes the best form of defense is deception, the art of fighting without fighting. The decoy airfields were proving effective as well, and you can check out our video about the starfish sites, and it was early in the summer of 1940. It was Dr. Reginald Jones worked out the German bombers were using a beam system to navigate exactly over their target with an intersecting beam to assist in accurately dropping their bombs where the beams intersected. Now, they had systems like the Knickerbein, X-Durat and Y-Durat, and on the 14th of November 1940, Coventry was blitzed and pressure mounted to crack the beam system and save lives of the British people. With the help of Robert Watson Watt, Dr. Jones and Watson Watt created the method to fool the Luftwaffe bombers twice by diverting the beam of the German system and making their bombs drop away from their original targets. Now, if they can do that, then they also could potentially manipulate exactly where they would have the bombs been dropped. But surely the Luftwaffe bombers, they weren't silly. They knew something was going on. But it was a man known as Colonel John Turner, born in 1881, an experienced civil engineer who had worked with the Corps of Engineers and the Royal Air Force, and became a director of works and buildings at the Air Ministry. He was the man behind the decoy airfields. His HQ was located at Sound City Film Studios in Shepperton, and it was here that Turner soon realised the effectiveness of mock-up film sets and brilliant lighting effects. So the decoy airfields began in early 1940. They had a runway, mock-up buildings and hangars, using various material and fake aircraft as well. So because Mildenhall were using in 1940 Wellington bombers, what they did, they made from plywood fake Wellington bombers, and we're in the vicinity of a decoy airfield. Now here I go, I'm talking about history, so I'm probably going to get some departures as well. I just want you to have a look at we'll have a look at this building here. Now, it's not actually part of the decoy system, but it's just to give you an idea of what I'm about to show you. You have to imagine something like this with a blast wall in front of it, but it was also covered with earth. And the decoy system that was put in place and designed by Colonel Turner was actually quite amazing, and the code that was put in place to operate was a Q site and a K site, and this was code for depending on whether it was for nighttime or daytime, and this K site for daytime and Q site for nighttime. Now just one sec, as we got aircraft coming into land, I won't get you to make sure you won't miss that as well. But it was a very clever system. So basically they had a fake runway, and just to give you the effectiveness of them, they had to come up with some sort of foolproof system, because our Allied aircraft actually tried to attempt to land on these decoy airfields, which would actually end in disaster. So they come up with like a flare system, those goose flares, a red flare system, just to give a little hint that, hey, you know, to our allies, this wasn't the real thing, but at the same time not spooking out the Luftwaffe aircraft as well. The idea was to actually make sure it got bombed. It was made to look like Mildenhall, for example, for here. So many of the airfields, many of the active World War II airfields had them, and just to the south of Brandon, which we are nearby, the town, had a decoy airfield, and it was a decoy airfield here to protect. It was probably near Eriswell Lodge, because it got bombed pretty much near there, which was called the Rod and Gun Club. And the reason why I showed you that building in just a moment, I'll show you something, a little diagram of what the decoy airfield would have looked like. And to give you a ratio, we're talking about 50-50. That's the ratio of real airfields being bombed and the decoy airfields being bombed. Now, the thing is with that, when you look at it at that ratio, that's a pretty good ratio. And Lakenheath was actually bombed, not the real airfield, but the decoy airfield was actually bombed 5 times. It took 2 officers or 2 operators in a bunker like the one I showed you to manage and operate all the lights. So nighttime, the Q site was a nighttime decoy airfield, so a fake airfield. So they had fake Wellington bombers here. They even used sort of painted cloth to put over mock-up stilted buildings and things like that, literally. Now, there is an example of all the films. I found an example of it in a film. It's actually the Woman in Black 2 features a decoy airfield. To have a look at that, if you know any films that actually have a decoy airfield, just let us know in the comments. Be nice to actually see a mock-up version of a mock-up version. Does that make sense? I mean, that's pretty cool, isn't it? That's really good. Just keep my eyes peeled to the right there, just down the runway. Marshalling in the aircraft, lovely.
Oh, that's all right.
Hi, you all right?
Yeah, I do.
Good, thank you. Good.
Yeah. It's a cold one, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
Are there lights today?
I don't know. I mean, they started early. Here comes another one taking off. Yeah, they started around 8 o'clock. So it looks like a non-stop kind of day today. There's not like a traditional full send. So I'll just show you quickly while I can before the next departure. That's our decoy airfield setup. So that building, like I showed you, there's the blast wall there. And there's our officer there. There'll be 2 using a switchboard, so if it was a night time they could light up all the runways. They got the engine room here, and this cross section here is here, so there's a ladder and a movable spotlight to actually make it look like there's fake aircraft taxiing. So amazing. And like I said, here Lakenheath decoy airfield was bombed 5 times, and that like I said means that it saved the real base Mildenhall 5 times. And I think some bombs were actually landed where the old Rod and Gun Club were, which... Oh, take care, mate. See you later, yeah?
I don't know how you do it up here.
Mate, I ain't going to be long, don't you worry. I am, yeah. It is very, very cold. Very cold. Take care, buddy. Take care. Yeah, we'll probably finish.
Well, Norwegians feel at home, don't they?
Sorry?
That's what the Norwegians feel at home.
Yeah, someone told me they have gone.
Wait a minute.
Take care, man. Yeah, so I went through the ADSB system. It's a system that uses a GPS. There's an in to receive all the data from ground stations, and there's an ADSB out that you can turn up. The transponder is on, but the ADSB is a different receiver. Here we go, more. Send it. That sounded good. I don't know what part that was, but sounded alright. Sounded alright. Here we go. Gotta keep going, innit? How we doing, ladies, gents, teddy bears? Hope we're all good. My feet have turned into a block of ice. Alright, how we doing? Right, I thought I see a bully cat. No, I didn't. I thought I'd seen an F-15 down there. We got F-15s down there now. How many do we got there now? Or did it just disappear? No, there it is, just about in the mist. Eagles in the mist. had plenty of departures. Been really busy today, and they've been kind of non-stop as well, which is really good. I don't know how many we've had departing. We've had, well, close to 20, I would imagine. First lot were in 4s, weren't they? We had 4, 4 and 4, so yeah, about 20 at least. Gotta keep going. Man, it's that window. The window, not the window. The wind, though. It's just that wind. It's pretty bad, isn't it? That's our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby, on the controls. Ted, you're right, mate. Look at you all bundled up over your scar. Looking smart, Teddy. Marcus, thank you very much for the super. A guards march to Marcus. Thank you so much for the super. Babs, that's wonderful. Thank you very much, Babs. High five and a paw pump. Guards march as well. Thank you for gifting 5 Ted Coningsby memberships. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Babs. A regular and a massive supporter of the Ted Coningsby channel. And also Captain, speaking of massive support, look at this, 33 months of membership from Not Captain Weber. And another month rolls on, and another amazing month of streaming. Thanks TCS for everything they do. Thank you very much. Another, look at this, 29 months from Jane Chu as well. Good to be here, and we're happy to have you here as well. And again, 28 months. Look at this, Dexter Paladin. 28 months last week, lots of time well spent, and 100k subscribers or so ago to the next 28 months at Astra. Ted, thank you very much. Guards March Bobby, thank you very much as well for your super. The Batter Purple as well, thank you very much as well for your super, Guards March. And also congratulations to our Spanner Flight member Mayhem Marshy with 3 years of membership going green. Thank you very much. And the 3 years milestone is grey. Nice one. And Mark Brown, thank you so much for the super. A Guards March to you. Paul Mayers, thank you very much for your super as well. Guards March to you. Also with 35 months of membership and part of our Spanner Flight, thank you, Nikos, for creating this family. You're most welcome, man. And thank you very much for your kind words and support there. Captain A. Carl Portlock with 30 months membership as well. Wow, amazing. Oi, oi, Nikos and Ted, check in at the viewing area at Leeming. Nice. Margot, thank you very much as well for the super. Again, part of our Spanner Flight there. Scott Evans, high five. Nice one. We've got a new recruit. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby Squadron from Scott Evans there. Thank you very much for joining us. And Gary as well, thank you very much as well for the super. A Guards March to you. Ding, ding, ding. I don't know where that's come from, that. It's just Ted's new thing that he likes to do. Right, just going to make sure I keep having lots of tea. Just keep warm, keep the bones warm. Keep moving. So I deliberately have the tea down below. Just to get flowing, just get moving around. So it's kind of good that way. Try and chance and get some tea. and what's that you got, Ted? Oh yeah, nice one. I think that'd be quite helpful, Ted. I think you'd be that's really helpful. Ted, what you got there, mate? I'll tell you what, Ted is actually quite a romantic bear. Look at him. What you got there, mate? Right, Ted's just going to show you something. And to all our guys and girls out there, and bears, Ted, look at Ted, all prepared. Look at him. He's got his Valentine's Day card there. Nice one, Teddy. I know it's not Valentine's Day. You wrote this already, have you? Because we're not doing a Valentine's Day special here. Ah, to my wonderful TCS fans, what you got there? Red arrows of red, ground crew of blue, smoke on, go. Let's ride the show. Look at that, that's brilliant, Teddy. And don't forget, ladies, gents, teddy bears too. Check out our merchandise. Don't forget, we've got plenty of t-shirts. I mean, it's perfect t-shirt weather at the moment. That's brilliant, Ted. And of course, don't forget, you can treat your loved ones to our range of merchandise. And don't forget our beanie hats. Bobble on or bobble off. We've got a selection of t-shirts. We do have a jumper, loads of t-shirts, patches, key rings, perfect gifts for your loved one, your TCS loved one. And Ted's quite a romantic bear. And of course, visit tedconingsby.co.uk for the latest and greatest merchandise. Don't forget, members, you get the benefit of having a discount as well on your merchandise as well. So don't forget the latest discount code. Members, discount codes and offers do change, so do check out the latest. So if it doesn't work, just check you've got the latest discount code, okay, as well with that. So we've got, like I said, we've got beanie hats. If beanie hats ain't for you, we've got a range of baseball hats still, and a range of t-shirts and clothing. There are one or two hoodies. There's not many left because we are transitioning to a new hoodie. I've got the latest one over here with a little Ted Coningsby patch on the side of it that's embroidered on as well. But yeah, check it out, and welcome to the show, and a big shout out to all our viewers as well. Welcome, and so much history is here. I've mentioned it many times before. Let me just move this before I step on it and
Brunch here.
oh man, thank you, thanks so much.
Warm up on it.
Oh man. But yeah, all is good, ladies, gents, teddy bears. Oh goodness me, it's a little bit cold. I've got my lunch there, or brunch, because we're going to be finishing a bit earlier today. I'm just keeping a lookout for any of the departures, but welcome to the show. I haven't gone into too much of the in-depth, full-on history of the vicinity here at Lakenheath. Being the way it is at the moment, it's takeoff after takeoff with a few minutes break, not the traditional couple of squadrons going out, then a break, and then another two, and then a long break. So basically a traditional wave 1 and 2. But again, welcome this whole vicinity. I was actually thinking about it on the way here as I was driving. And thinking about tactics and where it's strategically based. And the thing is, I was looking at why we have, and it makes sense when you think about it. Is that, yeah, it's taxiing out for departure. You can't. This is another departure coming up by the look of it. Or is that just taxiing across? And that looks like a departure. And I think that's the, yeah, it's that one there. Okay. Looks like we've got another departure coming up. Yes, I was looking at the strategic positioning of where we are, and of course Suffolk, and you know, on the outskirts of Norfolk, Suffolk was quite strategically placed, and to have defence was quite key. It makes sense if you're by the coast and you've got an enemy right by your coast, then you're going to need natural defences. So this whole area was in fact a stronghold for the Anglo-Saxons as well. It's got quite a lot of history, and history that dates back to the 5th to the 6th century from the Anglo-Saxons, but it goes even further as well. I'll explain in just a moment. Into an ice block if I don't.
Right?
Hey Mark, how are you, man? All right?
Yeah.
God.
Cold winter next.
It is very cold. A very, very cold day today. It'll be a short day for me, I think, today.
Time on how quick you can eat it.
The documentary is really good, actually.
Yes. Haven't watched the C-17 one yet, but that's coming up next.
Yeah, I think it's done one with an F-15 as well, so. Don't know how to make us noise. Yeah, I think we say I've been
Actually got more aircraft down there, I think. We do, look at this. Actually got more. Well, I'm just going to have a quick bite and keep warm, hang on.
I know you have, but I mean...
Yeah, I've got like a heat mat in here as well. that sharp wind as well, just tipping it over the edge, really. Yeah, 1 more hour. That's it.
That was tomorrow for you yesterday. That was tomorrow.
It was quite busy, but couldn't see anything. It was so foggy. It was absolutely foggy.
So they're part of the same exercise, aren't you?
I believe so, yeah. Yeah. More startups as well. I love this story. It's pretty cool. I love that. But I might not be able to get to say it because it's quite there's quite intermittent departures today. Right, I'm back. Right, I've had a quick drink. So yeah, I think 11 o'clock we'll call it a day. I like to make sure I've done more than, what's the word? Streamed more than my driving time, shall we say. So got like a 3-hour round trip, so might need to just zoom out a little bit there, might help, wouldn't it? Yeah, I mean, I'll go into just a quick, so I'm going to go more into the history of more of the location than anything else. Here at Lakenheath, Ladies, Gents, Teddy Bears. But the history itself is absolutely remarkable. From an 8,000-year-old, I mean, we can go even further. We can go to the glacial period. For those that wonder why there's so much sand here, the name Heath probably suggests it, but an ex-river, an extinct river called the River Bitham, which found its way from Nottinghamshire all the way through here. And this is what's left from the last ice age and the glacial period, and what's left. And with the flint mining and the mining of minerals from the Bronze Age and Neolithic times as well, and Iron Age as well, has left lots of craters, and especially from the Norman period as well in the 11th century when they brought rabbits over for food as well. 8,000 years ago we got a natural spring on the base. It's by where the old tower was, so it's opposite where the other one was. There's so much amazing history of the actual geographics of this place. It's actually quite remarkable. So for those that are wondering where is it, Maid's Crosses, those craters around there, it's called the Broom, if I remember correctly. So it's what's left of it, that unstable land from mining, from the rabbits that were brought over. So yes, you got the Norman period as well, that came over, but just before that you've also got the 5th and 6th century of the Anglo-Saxons, and they had such a stronghold here. In fact, the very inspiration when I first came here, I noticed a sign here in this very car park that said this car park is built on the medieval earthwork. So I looked into it, and with the help of one of our fans sending me an email and looking into it a little bit more, it's amazing to find out what you can get. And then, because for those that know my background as well, know that I love archaeology as well, there's remnants of earth, there's actually an earthwork that you can see, a bit like the original ditch. It's a ring, it's called an earthwork. So Stonehenge has it, and in fact a lot of stone circles in Britain has like an earthwork, almost like a ditch, a ring around the stone. So, and Stonehenge has this, and Avebury has, well, Avebury's got a massive earthwork like that. And there's one here with the trained eye, for especially from up here you can see it. And the excavations took place in 1959 by the lady that founded Mildenhall Museum, Lady Briscoe. First excavations here took place in 1959 as well. It's to find these Anglo-Saxon remains as well. I'm just keeping my eye on the flashing lights of the F-35. Lady Briscoe, and with the help of the Suffolk County Counter Archaeological Unit, they found lots of remains from the 5th and 6th century. And then the moment came. So when you're driving down the A1065, just before you come to the main gate, Gate 1, the entrance to Lakenheath RAF itself, you'll notice some newer type of buildings there. Lots of houses there. In fact, if you look on Google Maps, there's like a baseball stadium or an athletic stadium. Before they built them, they were doing the groundworks, and that was the best time because they believed that that was the area where there was a lot of graves there. Now, the graves in those times, you had bell barrows, long barrows, pond barrows, all sorts of style barrows. They were a singular burial, the tumulus. Long barrows are more of a community one. There was more than one. But the bell barrows, they are tumuli and tumulus. They were usually single. They're like little bumps in the ground, and if you go around Stonehenge, there's hundreds of them, and they were singular burials. But it wasn't that common to find the remains with, mind you, from looting, they'd be all gone, but sadly, but it wasn't that common for someone to be buried with all jewellery and literally armour and swords, etc. That meant there was someone important, a chief or a general. And what they did find before they were going to actually build all these houses, the dormitories, in 1997, the start of the very first excavations, they found a fully armed Saxon warrior. They called him the Lakenheath warrior. In fact, just to give you an idea of the grandeur of what they found, 427 graves were found in that vicinity. 6 men buried with swords, 2 with horses, 3 minstrels, that's men buried with liras, and 1 man buried with a quiver of arrows. There were a total of 96 females. They found over 2,500 glass beads, arrowheads, all that kind of stuff that they found in that vicinity. Pop goes the weasel. Yeah, so they found loads, and with that they found what's called the Lakenheath warrior, man 5'10", buried with his horse, shield, sword, everything. Even I think they found remains of a goat, I think, or a sheep. I can't remember which one it was, but it was like what they believed as an offering. Jewellery, you name it, the lot. And like I said, the Norman period was a bit of a different period. They're the ones that brought loads of rabbits. They brought them for food, but they multiplied. In fact, this whole region, especially in history, 18th century, 19th century, 18th century especially, it was called Lakenheath Warren. There's our departure, Lakenheath Warren. And there was lots of gamekeeping, and I'll continue in just a moment. And there's a story related to the Mad Hatters as well, which I'll explain in just a moment. Here comes our single F-35. Century, there was a lot of gamekeeping here. And by the way, just quickly, I forgot to tell you, it's been a long time because I'm so cold as well. If you want to see the remains of the Lakenheath warrior, he is, see you later, take care. He is actually preserved and resting at the Mildenhall Museum. Make sure you check it out. It's not on the base. This is Mildenhall is in the town itself. So check out the Lakenheath warrior. Google it. Search on the internet before you travel, just in case it's not open, because they do have particular times. I think they just open for 2 hours on some days, on some of the days, and then I think either Friday or Saturday they're open for a bit longer. I think it could be Saturday. They're open for a bit longer than usual. But check it out. It is fascinating. There's lots of aviation stuff in it as well, but I'll give you a little story. So the Normans brought with them the rabbits. Now, during the 18th century, they were controlled through rabbit warrens and all this kind of stuff, and related to either Brandon or Thetford, okay, was a hat company. Now, with so much rabbit felt, and sorry if you're a vegan, you don't like this kind of thing, but they used the rabbit felt for making hats. Now, here's the thing: the rabbit felt was actually bonded with mercury. Can you believe that? And this is related and something of a saying, mad as a hatter from here, this very area. And it's interesting that we've got a squadron that's called the Mad Hatters, and I'll explain in just a moment. Now, the rabbit felt was bonded on the hats with mercury. The problem is that mercury would go into your bloodstream, and hence the term mad as a hatter. That's where that comes from. It's local to here. And the other thing is the Mad Hatters, as we know as the 492nd Fighter Squadron, they're also locally known as the Bowlers. And it's all to do with this, the bowler hat, if I may. Guns. Oh. So I love this, and they got a kind of a tradition going on with wearing headgear, traditional headgear, to the country that they're operating from. I think they were wearing a beret. I think they were wearing berets in France, and they wore a fez in Turkey. I think when they were on like a when they were on tour there or deployment out there or something like that. I think it was. So they get called different things. It is spelt B-O-L-A-R-S. It is a different spelling, but it does mean the bowler hat. Guns up, bowlers, what up? So there we go, a little story there for you. And in during the First World War, during that period in 1916, this vicinity was actually a bombing range as well. So around here we had biplanes and using this as a bombing range. I mean, how amazing is that? But hey, that's history for you. Oh, I do have gloves, by the way. I do have my gloves, but I've just taken them off for a minute. There we go. So I'll get you as much info as possible. And yeah, like I said, 1934 Mildenhall was built, and then 1936 Feltwell, which is just to my 5 o'clock, and they started operating in 1937, and then eventually they started operating as well, the Wellington. They had the Harrows there before, but so much history around here. In fact, there's even an Anglo-Saxon village nearby here as well, but definitely, for one, there was definitely a full stronghold here if you had a warrior buried here. With 426 or so burials here, I'd say this is probably like pretty much the graveyard. But where there's water, there's life, and that's the thing. Doncaster Lass, Martin Kirkland, how you doing? Oh, it's temporary closes. I wonder when it opens again. Mildenhall Museum. I don't know when it's open. Let's have a look. Mildenhall Museum. Let's have a quick look at the website. See when it's open. Mildenhall Museum. Let's have a look when it's open. Let's have a looky here now. Opening times. Oh, it's closed until Tuesday, March the 3rd. So it's not open until the 3rd of March this year. Alright, so let's have a looky here now. Does it have times? Because they've got the very different, unless they're going to update the times when they reopen them maybe. But yeah, a really wonderful, an amazing museum. Do check it out. There's so much stuff, and you can learn about the history that I've mentioned as well. It is entwined in the history there. A lot of let's have a look, just trying to see if we've got any arrivals coming out. There's been plenty of departures. Have we only had like 1 or 2 landings? We had like 2 landings, is that it? Or maybe 3 at a push, but Don't go mad. I'll just go and get another top up of tea. I'll be right back. All right, give me 1 second. What I'll do is I'll leave it over here in case there's a... Hang on a minute. Or shall I leave it back? Okay, I'll just leave it here for a minute. Just give me a sec. I won't be long anyway. Get the ice blocks off. Oh dear. That. Oh, just having a quick look down the other end. So they've been, it's probably the longest break we've had at the moment. Plenty out there. Welcome to the show. Hope you're all good and well, and thanks a lot to all of you who supported the channel. Very close to 123,000. Very close, and looking forward to getting that hopefully soon. Ian Roper, how you doing? Ian Roper, no, that was the F-100 was the Super Sabre. Aussie Bird Photography, thank you very much. Doncaster Lass, Ian Foley, Williams, Martin Kirkland, Tasman, Chris Bloxham, Edward Coates, oi oi to you, Jenny B, Batter Purple, Captain A, Wib 74, Mark Dudley, how you all doing? Stones Ian, Oh, thanks a lot for your 2 years milestone as well. That's amazing. Simon Watchorn as well. Crackle Tags, how you doing? Just having a cup of tea. I'm having loads of cups of tea. AD Corsa, how you doing, man? Alan Q. It's pretty much the same, Alan, tomorrow and Thursday, and worse on Friday. But we'll persevere, we'll keep going, you know how it is. Alex Raven, oi oi to you. Yeah, unfortunately this week is pretty bad. Millie's so silly. We need tea over the gate, it's freezing. Do you know, it's just that wind, that's all it is. I mean, I was at Hull Beach when it was -2. Here comes an arrival now. And, you know, it was fine. There was no wind. It was actually blue skies and it was beautiful. It was so good. It was really, really good. Here comes an arrival now. Don't think we'll be getting any circuits today, unfortunately. R35. I might go and get my, might put my gloves back on actually. I know. The F-35, along with its 4 internal hard points, has also got 6 external, so you can fit a missile railing there and then rack it up and stack it up. Look at that massive long contour that sticks out. That's the GAU 22A cannon, a 25mm cannon that's only fitted internally on the A variant. The B and the C don't have one internally, and you can even see the bottom bump for the arrestor hook there actually, which the A has, the B hasn't. And again, just to reiterate, the carrier variant, the F-35C Beast, has a very different style of arresting hook than land-based ones. An absolutely remarkable aircraft. Everything about it is just simply a masterpiece of engineering. That's all we can say about that. The old, the original air traffic control was over there until it got, well, until it was no longer required. So we've also got RAPCON as well. That's the radar approach control, for those who don't know, in the tower, Lakenheath Tower, who manage both Mildenhall and Lakenheath, by the way, for those who don't know that, as the 2 MATs, the military air traffic zone, is kind of combined, which is called a CMATS, because they kind of, there is like a natural 5-mile radius, but because they're entwined and with the 2 airfields close together, the decision was made to have Lakenheath Tower to manage them, and that's RAPCON. That stands for Radar Approach Control. They are part of the 48th Operations Group. The 48th Operations Support Squadron, which their nickname are Eagles. So if you ever hear Eagles Rock, that the 48th Operations Support Squadron, they train and equip not only the warfighters to enable agile combat air power in support of the 48th Fighter Wing of the United States Air Force, but along with the combatant commands, allied forces. The 48th Operations Support Squadron includes flight and airfield management, air traffic control, RAPCON, weather, intelligence, weapons, tactics, wing scheduling, training, life support, operational plans, and group admin as well. That makes up the 48th OSS. How good is that? So Lakenheath's tower, like many traditional air traffic control towers, with the tinted windows, slanted at 15 degrees there. Radar Approach Control, as it stands for. And they basically ensure the readiness, security, and secure both military and civilian flight operations around the clock. And they manage the aircraft from literally from the tarmac to 20,000 feet in a 60-mile nautical mile radius, and they employ the radar technology. They manage the designated airspace, as we mentioned, CMATs, coordinating with multiple host nations as well around the East Anglia region. And this arrangement supports the daily flight operations of the 48th Fighter Wing. They also support the 100th Air Refuelling Wing at Mildenhall, along with the 352nd Special Ops Wing as well. They'll facilitate the routine flights and complex military exercises. Now, that's not to say there's no one at Mildenhall Tower. There are, it's manned. They'll deal with the engine runs and all the mission supports that they require. So, for example, if they are needing basically their operations frequencies to talk about engine and flight plans and stuff like that, they can arrange it with them. And then of course it then goes on to Lakenheath's RAPCON. So they got what's called, there's two sorts of elements to RAPCON. There's the assist controller and an approach controller. The approach controller, they're the ones that talk to the aircraft, and the assist controller writes down the altitude and course of flight. Again, RAPCON is part of the 48th OSS, and for the first time, I think it was last Friday. Was it last Friday? It was last week, wasn't it? We saw an F-35 with 48 OSS. Never seen that before, so it was quite nice to see that in honour of the 48th OSS, which is actually quite amazing. So there's a lot of collaboration between RAPCON teams and the pilots. That's clearly crucial with any air traffic control flight management, and particularly during adverse weather conditions as well. They prevent conflicts in airspace, manage any aircraft actually heading towards each other as well, unknown to them, and the RAPCON facilitates safe entry and exit from designated airspaces and assist with practice approaches, PFOs, and support the execution of fighter maneuvers as well, and aerial activities vital for the training missions. Their shift lasts about 8 to 12 hours. They do monthly proficiency tests as well, along with having a simulation as well, practice on simulators as well. So it's pretty cool. So it's quite, being an air traffic controller is very busy. I always say they're the conductors of the sky. They manage the skies so that it's safe for everyone in the skies. So big shout out to RAPCON there, who are part of the 48th OSS, Eagles Rock. Aspen, what up? How you doing? Hope you're all good as well. Hope you're well. Big shout out to the West Coast there. What up? Hiya! Oh, so it's getting a bit chilly up here, so we've got to just yeah. So we're not long to go, ladies, gents, teddy bears. We're going to just give it another half an hour before we finish up. So at the meantime, we've got another F-35 just coming into land. There we go. Smooth landing there. Flown by the 493rd and the 495th Fighter Squadrons, and all behold, just behind that we've got another F-15E Strike Eagle on the EOR. Again, the F-35 showing off the external missile railings there. Nice. I do like they look cool with them on, to be honest. Well, it's my personal happiness with that. There's another F-35. Yeah, I just think they look so good with them on. I really do. I love the external missile railings on them. They look mean. Not that they don't anyway. Just look even more like aggressive. So Ted's flown twice in the F-35A here at Lakenheath. Both flights with the 495th Fighter Squadron. Look at that huge turbofan, 43,000 pounds of thrust with afterburner. Pratt & Whitney's masterpiece, the world's most powerful jet engine in a single fighter jet configuration. Beautiful. That is an absolute masterpiece. The radar cross section is quite remarkable. So stealth, one of the misconceptions of stealth is that they are invisible, which isn't really true. They will be detected. It will be if you're looking for golf balls, because that's exactly what that would register, about the size of a golf ball, which in a way is non-existent. Stealth means delaying that time of being detected when it's a bit too late. See ya! That'll probably be the last words you'll ever hear. Oh dear. Anyway, moving on. F-15E Strike Eagle there. Beautiful. And today, 15E Strike Eagle landing. Here we go. 45-degree angle, all metal wing aircraft. Almost a cropped Delta, you know, when you look at the design, but I don't want to offend the aircraft if it doesn't like the thought of that, but if an aircraft had feelings, but there we go. But you know, I was when I was showing you all the models today, my hands were freezing. Those models are like proper cold bits of metal now. This is like a fighter jet version of an A-10, this thing. It has so many hard points. It can pack, I don't know, around about 23,000, 24,000 pounds of goodness gracious me on it. Got the conformal fuel tanks hugging the airframe, powered by the 29,000 pound of thrust Pratt & Whitney's F100 PW229s. They are all that huge air brake as well. The large stabilizers indicating that this is a very fast max speed aircraft. Just short of 64 foot in length. Crew of 2 on the F-15E. Wizzo, the weapons systems operator there at the back. And of course the pilot, a great team that is. Pilot rows the boat. Wizzo shoots the ducks. Wizzo short, I think that's a departure down there, you know. Pretty sure that is a departure down there. A flickering light before the flight. Here we go. Is that our... yep, it was obviously that one from there. Nearly 60,000 pounds of thrust.
I mean, do you know, it's funny, isn't it? You see a little bit of afterburner, it just lights up the soul, doesn't it? You know, just that glow there, you know it is. Big shout out to the ground crew, a true testament, the legacy stemming back from the times of World War II, when aircraft coming excuse me aircraft coming back in all sorts of 2 and 8s, right states of battle damage and engine problems. The reason why you hear all these aircraft going out for their missions during World War II is all thanks to the ground crew, and that legacy still going today. The ground crew, they own the aircraft, they just lend it to the pilots. They bend it, they mend it, they break it, ground crew fix it. You know it is. Aspen, how you doing, man? Hope you're good. Good to see you on here. I know how busy you are, bless you. But thanks for checking in. One of our spanner flights there. Ian Wright, how you doing, man?
Bless you, all good. Don't forget, ladies, gents, steady bears, to do your flight checklist, your pre-flight checklist as well. Don't forget to, or in-stream checklist, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Do hit that like button, give us a thumbs up, support the channel. And of course, if you haven't done so already, just low approach that subscribe button in case you haven't subscribed to the one and only Ted Coningsby channel. And why not hit the notification bell button as well, so you don't miss out on the latest and greatest live streams and videos. And visit tedconingsby.co.uk for official Ted Coningsby merchandise, the unique, one and only official merchandise with original slogans and catchphrases. You know how it is. Actually, that's one I haven't got yet. You know how it is. Goods, just recommended one that a little bit of afterburner lights up the soul. I love that. Oh, that may be going to the pits.
for hot pit refueling.
Hey, what up? How you doing, y'all? My name's Casey, part of the 100th. Thought I'd come down, check it out. I'm from the 48th as well. Been looking after them today. I've just come back from the 48th LRS, that's the Logistics Readiness Squadron, which I manage at the 100th. That's right, my name's Casey. How you doing, y'all? I'm from West Coast. And I hope you're all good. What up? Yeah, what's been going on? Just been checking out. Been doing some training today. You see, training is important. You train, you gain. And I got what you need. That's right. Logistics Readiness Squadron, part of the QA, Quality Assurance. We need to make sure everything is tip-top. That's right. If it ain't good, it's got to get out of the hood. That's right. You got to train to gain. That's right. Been looking around. Been cold around here. Usually bears are non-existent in the winter. Normally pretty gone. That's right. We're normally out of here. But, been in the military. You got to be out here all the time. That's right. Yeah. What's that? What's going on around here? See something? What's going on? Someone playing games? Let me have a look. Where's that Reggie guy? What in Salmon's name are you doing, Bear? I'll be right back. Make sure he's okay.
Right, just gonna go and grab another cup of tea. Be right back.
Right, ladies, gents, teddy bears, I think that is us done for the day, I would have thought, for now, before we freeze to death. No one's frozen bears. Hank Vahul, thank you very much for your phantom photos. Oh, nice one. 1k likes. Well, that would be good to finish up. $1k likes as well. What a great way just to finish up the day. And goodness me, it's pretty cold. So I'll just get Ted to say goodbyes and finish up for today. At least we got to get you a show. Don't forget, there's plenty of videos out there in our archive, so don't forget to check out, go to our YouTube channel, click Ted Coningsby, and have a look at all our videos. And a Guards March to Gary Lockton, high five as well. Gary Lockton, thank you very much for gifting a Ted Coningsby membership. Guards March, EP65, high five and a Guards March to you as well. Thank you very much for gifting a membership. Doncaster Lass, thank you very much for your 31 months membership. Oi Oi TCS. Wes Downer, thank you for your 19 months. I am free. But now Stones, Ian, congratulations on 2 years. Wow. Nice milestone, thank you, and keep up the awesome stream. Thank you very much. Alan Q, thanks for the super. Brian Robinson, a high five, thanks a lot for joining the Ted Coningsby squadron as well. And Tim Lovett as well, also joining, a new recruit as well. Tim Lovett, thank you very much. Welcome to the Ted Coningsby squadron. Simon Watchon, thank you as well. Thank you, Nikos, for making the trip and standing in the cold so we don't have to. Hot drink on the way home, boss. Thank you so much for that. Definitely, it's been amazing. How amazing. And it always fascinates me coming here, it really does. It really does. You know me, and history and the stations we go to, it's just phenomenal, it really is. And I know we're about to finish up for the day now, but you know, the mighty 8th making their way, 1943, and you know, the Echelons came and, you know, making that way, that journey, leaving their home, literally. There is a landing now, and all these I mean, there was so many United States Army Air Force bases in this whole region. It's unbelievable. This East Anglia region was just thriving, and it's nice to have Lakenheath here under the United States Air Force, because it's just something that's left as well. And you've got the Square D still flying at Mildenhall. It really is just, you know, spine tingling and goosebumps when you think about that legacy, that stronghold, that fighter town that we have. The impact they have is amazing. So ladies, gents, teddy bears, my name's Nikos. I've been your cameraman, historian and commentator, and this is our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. You've been watching the Ted Coningsby channel live here at RAF Lakenheath, and I hope you've enjoyed it. So for the last time for today, it is for now. See you soon. Wish you well. Thanks a lot, RAF Lakenheath and the 48 Fighter Wing, and thank you to our members as well. See you soon. Wish you well. Oh yeah, ladies, sheds and teddy bears, welcome to the Ted Coningsby channel membership. I'm Nikos, I'm your cameraman and commentator. This is our squadron leader, Ted Coningsby. Just want to say a massive thank you to all our members. Guns up and oh yeah. Take it away, Ted.
Ladies, sheds and teddy bears, we want to say a massive thank you to all of our subscribers for getting us to where we are today. We have gone all over the country, from as far as Lossiemouth to Bryce Norton, and military areas such as air weapons ranges, low flying areas, heritage centres and special flights for TED 2. We cannot do this without your support, and your support will be rewarded. You can now join the Ted Coningsby Squadron and help fund the channel to get us around the country and provide us with the funds for equipment to bring you better content too. We have 3 levels of membership to suit everyone. With your membership, you'll get access to members only videos, photos, posts, unlock special Ted Coningsby YouTube emojis and loyalty badges, as well as being able to access our exclusive members only Discord server. All membership levels reward you with discounts to our online store. Our top level Fighter Squadron was inspired by many of our fans who supported the channel massively. This is more of a personal experience with me and Ted, giving you exclusive live streams and content from behind the scenes photos, special info and updates, as well as a free Ted Coningsby Fighter Squadron patch for joining. Whichever membership level suits you, we want to say a massive thank you for choosing to join the Ted Coningsby Squadron. Ah, yeah.